Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MilsimUnits.com podcast. I'm your host, C. Brock, and today we have Lieutenant Colonel Moore from the 15th MEU, SOC Realism Unit. Lieutenant Colonel, good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, 15th MEU, very prominent in the Milsim community, as we were discussing before the show. Really looking forward to getting right into it and learning more about the unit and opening it up to the rest of the community. So, with that, let's start with you, Lieutenant Colonel. Can you tell us about your experience in Milsim gaming? How did you get started?
Yeah, absolutely. So it started back in 2012. I built my first gaming PC, and I guess with the units, I got started with Mountain Blade, Napoleonic Wars. So it was a real long time ago, and had a lot of fun there. But I was looking for something else, and the main reason why I built my computer was DayZ was just a huge, gaming platform at the time, modded on Arma 2,
Right.
and so I was playing that. I realized I am terrible at this game, and I need something else that is gonna train me to do better and really just not play solo. So I started looking at, well, this is a military simulation. There's bound to be a bunch of guys with the same mindset coming together. And I stumbled on a 15th, Milsim unit kind of website and was like, oh, that's pretty neat. And so I signed up in July of 2013
Hmm.
and it just kept rolling.
So yeah, you got a very, very long and a well-developed experience here in the community. So, and I mean with DayZ, yeah, man, that's pretty hardcore. A lot of people get their start there because it's such a popular game. But to your point there, when you get a whole team, a squad, a platoon, company, a whole element together to work, as a team, it really does open up the experience, and I think it makes it more enjoyable overall. So you found the 15th. Can you tell us a story about how this Milsim got started? Tell us what you've learned and experienced going back all these years.
Absolutely. Well, so the 15th started from a couple of guys that were playing Battlefield 2, the Project Reality,
Hmm.
and uh, and they kind of covered Armed Assault, realized that hey, this is a really good platform that we could potentially expand upon. And so the 15th MU was stood up officially the 21st of June 2007 by the four founding members: First Lieutenant Jay Schultz, First Lieutenant Jay Savage, Gunnery Sergeant Phillips, and Sergeant Tigernon. And it started with two fire teams, First Platoon Echo Company, and it's since then evolved. Um, and it's been really crazy that we've had the ability to communicate with a lot of like the founding members, and then the continuing of leadership all the way through. So their stories always kind of cemented in history, and so it's just awesome to know that we're still going strong since 2007.
Yeah, that's really great that you can maintain the relationships. Keep those online friendships going over such a long period of time. Really, obviously it makes for a better unit and it makes for a more enjoyable experience overall with everybody. Teamwork goes a long way, like I said. So, can you tell us about the 15th's operations? How do your training sessions, your missions look? What's your schedule like? And how does your ops make you unique compared to other Milsim units?
So the thing that drew me in 2013 was the combined armed aspect. It wasn't just infantry focused. It's not just air assets. It was everyone coming together in a large mission with a single objective, working together cohesively. So, and it's been maintained. First and third Sundays are go time, and in between, we still have trainings all the way down to the fire team level, all the way up to platoon level, and so those guys hone their skills, and then those Sundays we come together and we get to work in you know correlation with each other for these big grand events. And that's, I think, was a huge aspect of why I was very interested.
Yeah, definitely. Combined arms, man. I've talked with other unit leaders and unit members before in the past. I mean, that's where it's at. That is realism. Right there in the game. So, how do you balance that level of realism and immersion? With having fun, with the guys in game.
So obviously, not every mission is going to be throwing rounds downrange at the bad guys. Our S shop that helps develop the missions and the guys that work on making the template or scenario. They do a really good job of maintaining that air of suspense. Kind of gives a little bit of off time. You really see the guys interact and really get engrossed into their, when you're playing that game, you are that grunt that's going through the tree line. Or hey, if you're on a defensive posture, maybe on a checkpoint on the road, and you guys are just shooting around and just hanging out. So it really bridges that divide of contact, and then that off time you really grow those friendships and those bonds, but you're still waiting for that round to crack overhead, and that pull of a trigger, everyone switches to a professional aspect. So I think it's a really good kind of way that we balance it. And then, coming at a game, hey, from that, we're all just at our computers, right? Well, hey, let's play something else. Let's do this. And it's very engaging across the board for everyone to, find something that they really enjoy outside of Arma, which again further just deepens those bonds.
Sure. I like that word you use, suspense there. So you guys, in your ops, you keep the tension up, but you don't make it a grind where everybody's got to be going 100% full steam the whole time and wearing themselves out.
Exactly.
Yeah, and definitely, playing, games, as I call them, extracurriculars, playing them during the down times. I mean, that right there is fun. Yeah, lower pressure. You can blow off some steam without, again, sweating the particulars of a particularly realistic mission. So, sounds like a good time to me. Now, with that in mind, can you tell us about the culture and the camaraderie within 15th MEU? What does it look like, down, in the trench, with your fellow grunts?
Yeah, well, I try to keep a great rapport with everyone. My role as the CO, I have to show face and be acknowledged that hey, higher leadership, they're here for me, and that's the one thing that I love that we excel at is in choosing our leaders. It's somebody that is going to be present and responsible for the individuals under their care. It's a really big thing to have present leadership because that shows, hey, this guy is very much like me. If I'm lower down on the totem pole and he's still having fun, and those upper leadership billets, they're respected because hey, they know that this guy is putting in hours outside of his normal life to make sure that you know our operations can run smoothly. His guys are trained so that way you're not just dead on the battlefield somewhere. And so it really pushes people to do their best.
Absolutely. And, I got to say, in my experience in Milsim, I come from a U.S. Army realism unit, but I have to mention that when I was going through leadership, development and formation, going through the courses, we used a lot of USMC materials because you guys take leadership so seriously. Because, like you said, being present, taking ownership, it can make or break the mission. It can make or break the unit. So I got to give you respect to that. Now, I mean, with the 15th being so big, so complicated, so prominent in the community, so active, can you tell us about some of the challenges you faced as a CEO? What is come in front of you as an obstacle, and how did you get over it?
So the biggest thing is retention. Um, anytime that you lose X amount of bodies, it's always hard to filter through and get dedicated people to still continue with that mindset of, hey, I'm going to play this game a lot. You're going to make a lot of friends, but it does have a pretty good amount of time commitment. And the unit is what you make it, right? If you aspire for higher leadership roles, you're going to find yourself doing more and more time um, for the unit. And that's always a big reason why our S shops, those guys are dedicated guys and girls, excuse me. They're dedicated individuals that make sure that the unit is what it is, whether it's by policy, training aspect, all of that. So um, all of those taken into account is is really big. Whenever we drop in numbers, we have had to close sections, here and there.
Hmm.
In our unit policy manual, we have it dated for, hey, this unit was closed at this time, and the list is long. It's always something that you're going to be constantly struggling with to get those amount of bodies. And I know it's now a very big thing of a bunch of scattered units that Milsim has now brought together, to kind of filter through and help assist with that search. And so it's finding a way to keep everyone happy, entertained, stay in their billets. But we've always managed to bounce back, keep our retention high enough to keep a lot of our billets open.
Sure. Yeah, and I got to say to people, everyone wants to be the CEO. They want to, whether you're a captain or a colonel or whatever the case may be, you want to be up top calling the shots. But it can be almost like a part-time job if you really go in 100%. If you engage at the level that you really need to make your unit successful, it takes a lot. And you mentioned your S shop there and the folks there that work to keep everything together. I mean, definitely many hands make for light work, but yeah, it's a lot of work at the end of the day. So definitely respect to you for that. Now, you mentioned you've been in the 15th going back to 2013, so over a decade. Can you tell us how the unit has evolved over time? What's changed? What have you learned from those changes along the way?
Absolutely. So I was around when the unit was still in Operation Arrowhead, Arma 2.
Yep.
And about a year into it, that's when we started approaching the idea of swapping to Arma 3. I think that's one of the biggest challenges in changing games completely. It's a whole new mechanic system you have to learn. Sometimes mods aren't readily available. It was the biggest thing of Operation Arrowhead that had an entire USMC kind of equipment loadout. Going to Arma 3, it's got everything is newer and it's army based. So we had a lot of growing pains in making sure that, hey, these mods give our guys that realism level that we are shooting for. And that's been always one of the tougher challenges is we want to provide to them that United States Marine Corps kind of mantra, the ethos, the equipment. We want them to be, like I said, a grunt or a Marine when they're in game. And so it's always one of the biggest challenges to make sure it fits for our timeline that we're in. And now with the move to Reforger too, again, we've had a little bit of struggles. However, we're pushing through it, and the guys are loving the change.
Outstanding. Yeah, definitely. And I've talked about this before. When Arma 3 came out in 2013, it took a good 2 years before most of the mods that we really rely on today for Milsim were in the workshop. So that sounds like a hell of a growing pain. Going a year, 2 years, trying to adapt and basically piece and patch together what you can to make it immersive. Definitely, I can tell you guys take realism, really hardcore. So, yeah, that's really great. And it's one of the good things about Reforger. Coming out, the workshop is already full. It's not quite where we'd want to see it compared to Arma 3, but give it another year or two when Arma 4 actually is published, who knows what's going to be out there. I'm really looking forward to it. All right. Now, with that, you guys, you've done a lot of work with other units. Can you tell us about your experience with the broader Milsim community? How does the 15th MEU interact with the other units out there?
So that's been probably one of our struggle points. Is for a long time we were very closed off, and we'd have a couple of bodies reach out, say, "Hey, I'm with this unit. We want to do something together," and it would get organized, but it wasn't very upfront. And people acknowledging, "Hey, we have other units looking at us. They want to come and play with us," which everyone loves it. I don't think I've ever been in a bad join op, and kudos to those guys that reach out, ours that go and reach out to them. There's a lot of work that goes into that one, right? And a lot of conflicting mods that have to get sorted.
Yep.
Um, so it does take time, but the reward is immense. I mean, we've done one where we joined up with a French unit, and 90% of them only spoke French. So I spent the better part of about 3 hours running with an interpreter the entire
Hmm.
time, and just translating for me so we could work together. I mean, it was probably the most stressful, hair pulling experience, but looking at it now, it was probably one of the best that we've had, and it worked out flawlessly, and they loved it. It was a 24-hour op, and we just had so many bodies coming in and out for different missions. And then we had Milsim units uh, being put together and combining just a lot of people. It really allows for that level to extend it to a lot of people that we didn't even know existed. And it's just us staying so busy we didn't have time to go and do a search and go and find those other units because we were so busy just working on ourselves and development. And so Milsim units bringing everyone together. We had um, our 24-hour op, what, 6 months ago,
Right.
and everyone was ecstatic. They keep asking, "Hey, when's the next one?" We love working with everyone else, and I think that Milsim units definitely open the doors for us to be a lot more public facing, and inviting more people to come along. So
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that op. I was in for a single 1 hour segment, and I was with Third ID. I remember you guys. You were doing like an amphibious assault, man. You had the AAVs and the whole works offshore, getting ready to assault this coastline. I missed out on that, but I saw some video afterwards. We had one of our guys attach himself to the 15th, and he went in, hit the beach. So definitely. Really excited to take part in that. It was a lot of fun for me. Very stressful, even as a grunt on the front line, but definitely looking forward to the next one. So I got to ask, are there any upcoming events, any collaborations that you're working on, or you're looking forward to to putting on in the future?
we definitely want to do one in the future. Like I said, with our recent transition to Reforger in November, we're still working out the kinks. Obviously, all of our manuals, our SOPs, everything like that, has to get updated. Whether it's the keybinds, the wording on it, getting everything together and then getting everyone familiar. And again, as we stated before, getting that mod pack cemented where we need it to be. Reforger dropped that 1.3 update, and so our S4 logistics team has been going um, just absolutely nuts, getting everything ready for us. So it's a lot of small actions here and there, and getting everything up to date. We will be definitely reaching out to other units. I'm hoping by the end of this month, or excuse me, in April, that we want to really expand upon and bring them over and show us, hey, are they doing something different? How can we improve? And kind of work with each other to kind of better develop ourselves. We're using this as the platform that's going to be Arma 4. So we figured, hey, we'll take the plunge and figure out the kinks early as much as possible. So that way, when 4 comes out and it's a huge hit, we can roll straight into it. And hopefully that keeps up the relations with other units that are also anxiously looking forward to Arma 4. And again, you know, just doing more joint ops and more that cohesive work together. It shows that, just because you're from a different unit and you're not in ours, that we can't be friends, that we can't, fight and play in the same battlefield. It's a really good sandbox to be in.
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds outstanding. Definitely, like you mentioned, there are some growing pains to overcome, but this isn't your first rodeo. Just talking, you made it from Operation Arrowhead to Arma 3. It's been a couple of years, but that's the thing. You've got the experience, you know what to expect, and you know how to rally people together and get them oriented, to the front. So, what about the future of 15th MEU? Where do you see the unit, let's say a year from now? Let's say, early 2026. How are things going to look?
So I'm hoping that a lot of people realize how great of a platform Reforger is, the life it breathed back into this unit. We've had numerous guys coming from reserves and retirement that are just excited. After being an Arma 3 unit for the last decade, it's a change of face for the unit, and it brings a lot of just awesome aspects to the game that after a while grow stale, which is why some bodies tend to leave it behind.
Hmm.
And so we're hoping that, hey, give it a shot. It's a little bit different. It's still got some some kinks and bugs in it, but that their dev team is working through a lot of it, and it's a very enjoyable aspect, and I mean, huge morale boost. So,
Yeah,
and it's always great to see.
absolutely. Yeah, the future's wide open. Yep. The devs
Yeah.
over at Bohemia, they've got it together. I mean, they've had some serious obstacles and some headaches they've been dealing with lately, but they're just professionals like none other. Definitely, I'm really looking forward to seeing the potential fully unlocked and open up here.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that other sections that we've had to close down due to numbers or limitations of the game are making a resurgence back in for us. We've had an entire artillery section that is not a thing anymore, and I think a lot of people have fun when you see the giant explosions while you're assaulting an objective. I mean, it builds on that level of immersion that we have for our guys. So yeah, very
Hell yeah.
anxious to see.
Yep, absolutely. And if you've got reserve elements or personnel retired, Marines coming back into it, man, yeah, that's just it's gonna sweeten the deal that much more with that experience, that excitement, and just that camaraderie with the greater numbers. So I wish you all the best. Now, let's talk about Milsim Gaming in general. So, I mean, you've seen a lot. You've been a member of the community here for many years, like we talked about. Where do you see the future of Milsim going? And if you wanted to put in your 2 cents, get some feedback to Bohemia or anybody else involved in the Armorverse or just Milsim Gaming Online, what do you want to see? And how do you think the 15th will take part in those innovations?
So I think as a standard, it does the role that I think we've seen other kind of websites and applications that bridge all the units together. We've seen what it can do for the numbers. I would like to see maybe, hey, how many people have we gotten through from the website? And it's one of those things of, does that individual report when they show up to a unit say, hey, I found y'all through this, right? So those numbers can always be a little bit skewed or just not accurate, but it's one of those things to really show, hey, this platform is definitely working. And we've had quite a few guys say, hey, well, I found y'all through Milsim Units, and it's awesome to hear, because that just shows that, one, they weren't only invested in our unit, it was for everyone that they were looking at. We just got lucky enough that we were chosen. This is the experience that they wanted, and that's awesome. But I like that it gives everyone the ability to see everything on a front face, and that way you don't get guys that just go into it not knowing what to expect, and then they dip. So with that kind of knowledge, they're able to equip themselves with, okay, this is how they run things. This is exactly what I want. And you get people that are dedicated to wanting to fill that role, and that's huge.
Yep. Well, we're always looking to hear feedback, whether it's positive or negative. We want the ups and the downs. It's been a year that milsimunits.com has been out there doing our thing here. So we're looking to improve it. And at the end of the day, we really just want to bring everyone together. Different people from different backgrounds, different units, different games, and all that. But at the end of the day, we all have a similar mentality, similar interest, and just we're looking forward to getting together and sharing that camaraderie, whether it's within a unit or just within the genre as a whole. So we're always going to keep working, moving forward, and looking to improve what we can do to bring out the best in the community. So let's talk about your favorite aspect of Milsim gaming. What is it that's brought you back and kept you engaged all these years?
Um, sure. Yeah. It's a very easy way to make great friendships. First off, I mean, I had my wedding a couple years ago. I say a couple, it's been a few.
Nice.
And I've had guys from the unit go and attend. One of them was a groomsman. They are such just amazing people that dedicate times that, occasionally on nights and my wife gets upset with me, but I spend more time with them than I do with her.
Mm, yep.
And whether it's just, talking or working through issues, what's amazing to see is there's so many different backgrounds from everyone that comes in with a plethora of knowledge, that they can give and share. And it's really developed a lot of people. You see that brotherhood come together of a lot of like-minded individuals, and they can have varying, whether it's political or in gaming, all these differences, but we all come together for one common goal. And at the end of the day, it lets you, communicate with somebody else with a different, kind of point of view. Um, so it's always amazing to see that happen, and that's why we, as leaders, love being here. It's one of those things that we have a lot of personal development from individuals. Our A lot of our training curriculum, like you mentioned before, we pull from actual, USMC documents about training and just welfare. We've had a couple instances where, if somebody was battling depression, and it's a amazing thing to see everyone flock to them and offer support and being able to, give them guidance. They'll say, hey, I recommend a therapist. Oh, you live in this same city. Great. Let's meet up. Let's go talk it out. And, we can get you on a path to recovery. It's something that I have not witnessed anywhere else, in even in my personal life, that there's just that strong bond to help bring people together. And so the thing that keeps me coming back is I help facilitate that. I give them the platform to be able to do that is amazing.
Mm. Yeah, and with the explosion of Armor Reforger, the kind of opening up of the Milsim, experience to the greater community, console players, PC players, the whole world basically. There are a lot of people who are looking in, and they're still kind of processing what they see. But I can relate to you. You're absolutely right. Just in my own experience, just playing and gaming and talking with other, Milsim unit members out there, there's really nothing quite like this. I've been gaming my whole life, most of my life, but I've never, met the kind of people and had the kind of online relationships here in Milsim that I've had in any other, experience or platform going back, decades. So there's something to be said about that, and good leadership is really a part of that. If you're taking care of your men, you're looking out for them, making sure they've got what they need, all the resources to do their job in game and have a good experience, behind the keyboard. That makes a big difference. Not only to that person, that soldier or Marine, but to the whole unit, because community. That's what we need more of in this day and age, and online gaming is no exception. So, really good to hear. Now, let's say we've got a new Armor 3 player here, new Reforger player. They're looking to get into Milsim, but they haven't taken the first step, and they're curious. They're shopping around for a unit. What is one thing that you'd want the audience to know about your unit's operations? What would you showcase if they were going to come and see this for themselves?
I think just showing that we offer a lot of ways for you to play your game. Whether you want to be that grunt firing an M27 right there on the front line, you want to be the NCO that's giving, that order just behind them, and encouragement and direct, level of guidance. We train you for that. You want to learn to fly, we'll train you on it. But when you incorporate everything together, for like myself, when I first joined as a rifleman, seeing how skilled the pilots were and showing them that, hey, they can put rockets on target while I'm attacking an objective, the same area, without impacting us. The skill that pilots learned just through the 15th, able to do that, is just, it's awesome. And if anyone can experience it, they get hooked. They love that adrenaline rush of everyone coming together, screaming, hollering, orders getting passed up and down. It's a very surreal experience that I think really kind of just shows that you might not be trained in this aspect, but you can trust that that individual knows exactly what they're doing because they've been taught the same way that you are in your position.
Yeah, that sounds pretty badass. And
Yeah.
you definitely, I'm going to get links to your social media here in the podcast description, but I'll have the YouTube channel very prominently posted so people can take a look for themselves, in case they want to get on or get in the server and see it for themselves. Now, going back all these years, with the 15th's history as a Marine Corps Expeditionary Unit, are there any traditions, any rituals unique to the unit that you can share with us?
Sure. So we do obviously everything in game is in the battlefield. So you don't have guys saluting and saying that, but I think it's the professionalism aspect that we hold true, and that when we're in game, you are that Marine. So you see an E5 walking past, hey, Sergeant so and so. They are that person. You see an officer, sir, here's what the report is. It's that level of just respect that is given and earned by the individuals that like I said really put in time for the unit, that really separate us. There's a lot of times where I've heard other units they take it a little bit more relaxed, um, and I think that only happens outside of game. But once you're doing any type of unit function, these Marines, they're locked in, and they do it out of respect for the Marine Corps. They do it out of respect of all of their friends here. And it really just kind of exemplifies that, hey, this guy has earned this position. So he has that much, respect for myself, and we carry that tradition. Um, and then I know all the guys are going to laugh at this one. The Marine Corps is really big on marksmanship.
Hmm.
This is always a funny one. So the 15th has always had a rifle range kind of period. Between February and March, we require everyone that's in an active duty billet to go and actually shoot on a rifle range and earn their, whether it's the pizza box, the sharpshooter expert, they earn those clasps, and it's such a funny thing because people think of it as, oh, it's just kind of it's a waste of time, but it's our way of emulating that real world structure into their game form. And so while a lot of them might say, oh, I could be doing anything else, but they all still do it.
Yep.
And it's just one of those traditions that we've carried on that's just really big for an actual Marine that we employ here.
Yeah, that sounds pretty hardcore. I mean, definitely, that's one thing I personally respect about the Marine Corps is that the cult of marksmanship, as you could call it. They take that shit seriously, and it pays off on the battlefield, man. They put their money where their mouth is, and they get the job done. So I like that. That sounds like a good experience to me. Now let's get to the fun question here, the one of the most anticipated questions in the podcast. Let's say 15th MEU is going to be on the screen, whether you're like a movie, a miniseries, a TV show. Which title do you think best captures the spirit of the unit?
Um, it's almost too many to mention because of just how many instances that happens. It could be a very solemn Band of Brothers esque kind of moment between a couple of individuals, just having that deep level of conversation, and then ramps up to big gunfight, and your buddy goes down, and it's just you're still doing your job, but you're trying to make sure they're okay. To Saving Private Ryan, these guys will go behind enemy lines for not necessarily one of their own, but to rescue somebody because we're not going to leave them behind. And then you've got aspects of Hamburger Hill. There's been
Hmm.
times where hey, that's our objective, and we're going to take it, and we're just throwing bodies at the problem and just getting chewed up, and it's a comical aspect also because at the end of the day it's a game, but everyone is just so motivated to accomplish their objective, and they're going to slog through it, and they're having a great time the whole time, during it. So I like to imagine that we embody a lot of those, and that you can't pick just one, because it's such just a diverse amount of bodies and such just different mission sets that we do. We try to keep it very interesting, so you could pick and pull your favorite ones, I think, and you will definitely have that simulated for you. um, but it's always awesome to see that it's not just a cookie cutter. It's not just one size fits all. It's for everyone, that you're going to have different, just kind of a feel, and you might take away a different scene from it that I haven't even, been made aware of.
Sure. Yeah, that's a fair point. Given your history of operations and how much you do, yeah, I guess it's kind of hard to narrow it down to a single title. Yeah, and especially with your numbers. I mean, you guys are pulling like company sized numbers here in terms of your operations and attendance and all that. So yeah, like I said, check out those YouTube videos. You'll. I'm curious. It's like I could go back and watch them more now and try to pick which movie that looks like the most. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, you mentioned earlier about how MilsimUnits.com, helped kind of get the community together, get everybody kind of oriented in a a common area, a single platform, so that they can communicate, work together, find out the right unit for them. Can you tell us about your experience overall? What have we done that's helped the 15th, and what do you think Milsim units can improve on going forward?
And maybe it's just not my familiarity with it is one of the things. I know that on the the control board for your unit, I'd like to be able to showcase more of our individuals. A lot of them will stream our operations, make it a lot more accessible for individuals to view it, and make sure that this is the right decision for them. Like I said, it does a lot to bridge that kind of informational gap. So whether you want to be a ranger and you're looking at USMC, we want you to find what you are going to enjoy. Um, and like I said, I think I can maybe link like a Twitch stream or whatever to it. I definitely need to spend more time with it to see if I can put multiple, because it's going to capture multiple angles from whether you want to fly and you're up in the air, you want to do light armored reconnaissance and they're riding around and you know and their LAV 25s just shooting and moving and screening, or you want to play as the battlefield grunt and just watch them get through a slogfest or some type of convoy operations, and really seeing everyone interact on that level. I would want to be able to showcase multiple angles um, at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. No, I appreciate hearing that. We're definitely looking to expand, not only the website and the Discord, but also the tools, the resources that we have available to unit commanders like you and other people who are shopping around looking for a unit. So definitely, we'll work together. I'll work with LaFlash and our dev team here. Let me talk to them, see what we can't do to increase the opportunities to showcase, not only the unit, as a whole, but also the individual elements and experiences within that, so that people can make a better, more informed decision, if you will. So definitely, I appreciate hearing that from you. All right, now we've covered a lot here today on the 15th. Learned a lot about your history, the unit's experience. Let's say again we've got somebody in the audience who is just getting started, or they've had a history in Milsim, but they're looking for a new unit. What's one thing that you want people to know about the 15th that they might not realize from the Discord, from YouTube?
So I think the biggest thing is, at the end of the day, we're all just coming together for a common game, but that we offer so much more. Everyone's channel is always open. I know that a lot of people get intimidated by, oh, there's a lieutenant colonel and I don't want to go bother him. But I could be playing any number of games. I welcome anyone and everyone, come join me. Let's play something together. And I think that's a really big thing of just don't let the rank structure fool you. A lot of people get intimidated by it, and they, oh no, I won't go talk to that guy, or I am just a lowly private. I've had times where we've had guys that are in our training pipeline pop in. I'm like, hey, we're playing this. Do you want to join us? And that goes for a multitude of channels. Everyone that's usually in there, they're all really approachable individuals because we're all just people at the end of the day. And while, you might not be active duty in the military, it doesn't have to follow the exact same structure. We still have that professionalism aspect and, just communicate with people effectively, and it allows people to be accepted and to know that, hey, we're all here to have a great time.
Yep, absolutely, and that is great. Like you said, at the end of the day, we're real people. We're just coming together to enjoy the experience. As hardcore as you can be, particularly in game on the line. That doesn't mean that we can't have fun doing this or that or playing any game for that matter. So really good to hear. Now, let's say we've got somebody here, they're ready to hit the button. They want to get involved with 15th MEU. How can our listeners get involved, or how can they join up? What's the best way to get in?
So, biggest thing, you can join through our Discord on Milsim Units. Just look under the Arm Up Reforger tab, and thankfully, our dedicated voters that vote for our unit, we're typically on top. I haven't
Yep.
checked today, but I'd like to assume that everyone's voting for us and really getting the exposure out there. But join our Discord. You can also see us on 15thMEU.net, and fill out a unit application or pop into our TeamSpeak and meet with a recruiter. We have so many ways for individuals to reach out. We don't try to pull them from, if they're debating, we want to get the individual that is, hey, I've got questions because I'm interested. And what that really drives is, hey, we can, I wouldn't say sell it to them, but it's a way for us to make sure that you are in a spot where you're gonna be happy and fulfilled, because that's what we want from everyone that comes and plays with us. We want you to want to be here because we know it's a huge ask for you to sacrifice a lot of your personal time for a bunch of strangers at the beginning, but it offers so much more. So check us out, and shoot, even I peruse through there and respond. So there's so many avenues for y'all to reach out and come come meet us.
Legit, and definitely, I'll have the website link up there as well, along with the Discord and YouTube channel. We'll get all that in the description for anybody who wants to take a closer look. And I have to say, an hour ago or so, when I was on the website, yeah, you guys were at the top of the Reforger page. So you got a lot of good things going there. And again, I wish you all the best going forward. So yeah, covered a lot. Really, took a deep dive into the unit. I'm definitely looking forward to the future of the 15th. All the things that you guys coming down the pike, all the things that you're working on, got in development, and looking for in the future. Next join up, man, definitely I'll be there because I had a blast last time around. Now, Lieutenant Colonel, it's been great talking with you here today. I want to ask, is there anything that you want to say about the 15th that we didn't discuss so far?
I guess going back to the joint ops, if any other units are listening to this, again, also reach out to us. We love the idea of doing joint ops. I think it gives everyone a chance to showcase their skills from what their units taught them, and it's always a really big thing of getting just individuals cross that boundary, and let's work something out and we can get something going. Everyone loves it. It's always a huge morale boost. It tickles their ego on all sides. So, but it's always a lot of fun and a lot of background work that goes into it. So, we do allow guests from other units. I believe we've had a couple third ID come and they filled in as a rifleman, and they got that experience to go back to their guys and say, hey, these guys are great, they're fun, we have to do something with them. So, you know, doing a quick reach out to us, and we can definitely set something up to have a guest come in for an operation, just get to experience what it is that we provide for our guys, and being able to go back to their units and say, hey, we got to do something with these guys. It'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Definitely looking forward to it. Let us know what we can do. We're always here to support you, other unit commanders, others within the greater community to really bring out the best and have the most fun possible that we can. So, yeah, as I mentioned a little bit ago, the future is wide open. And we're really fortunate to be here where we are to take part and facilitate, all this, all these great experiences and these good times together. So, yeah, absolutely. Lieutenant Colonel Moore, really been a pleasure having you on the show. I know we've been working out the details here for some time. Great to have it all come together. Looking forward to talking with you, in the future, seeing what's going on. And again, getting online and taking out some targets together.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me. It's a huge honor.
Absolutely. No, pleasure is all mine. So, good shit today. Great podcast. Ladies and gents, we've got some more podcasts in the works. We'll get this up, and we've got some more on the docket in the weeks and months to come. So, we'll be back ASAP to let you know what's going on in the community. Until that time, this is C. Brock signing off.